All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Coffee Break. And I'm really excited today to have one of my favorite guests, Neeraj, joining us again to talk about what's going on in our industry and some resources that he can offer. So, Neeraj, why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll talk about a couple things.
Thank you, Nathan, for getting me on your show. I'm Neeraj Mendiratta. I'm CEO of KnovaOne. I've been in collection industry for 20 plus years, in the legal collection world for almost 18 years now. And my company, KnovaOne, works with the law firms in our industry, also in the foreclosure default industry, help them with some back office resources and consulting them with the process improvements and whatever they need to do to get better. So
Yeah, so it sounds like, you're there to help businesses become better businesses. And somehow, our industry, the debt collection and the legal debt collection litigation industry, survived the worst COVID had to offer. But while international states of emergency are rare, thank goodness, states of emergency are not. And currently, we have colleagues in Florida dealing with Idalia. And so states of emergencies are not really that uncommon. So, what are some of the lessons we learned during the COVID situation, and how can we use those lessons to help other law firms that have emergencies during the course of the year on any year?
sure. So COVID was unique. COVID, I think, was completely different beast. It did not just affect locally, say, state of Florida or the United States. It was a global phenomenon. It disturbed everything. So any plans you had made to handle disasters or just emergencies were all thrown out of the system. Right? You could not do anything. But what it did was it showed a couple of things. First of all, it showed the strength of human beings as together, right? We knew that in order to survive, we had to come together. And whether people were pro or anti-vaccine or whatnot, we did things we needed to do to survive, and we did. I personally lost my father, but that's a different story. What it did was, for our industry or any industry, was it showed that a lot of myths and fears we had about how the work needs to get done were incorrect, right? People did work from home, from remote areas. Sometimes they worked under camera, sometimes they worked in a secure network. But what we found out was that the people who did work were able to deliver what was needed by the law firms, by the employers, by the industry. Even the courts did remote sessions, right? So it established that a lot of things that we thought in the past were not doable can be done now. Now, what it taught us was that, if we have proper plans, if we have workforce that's divvy up in different places, our systems, our network, then we can get something done. If it's not, even if we don't deliver 100%, we can still get 60 to 80% done. Now, with the Hurricane Idalia passing west coast of Florida over Tampa, I think it will go from Tampa over Gainesville to Jacksonville. It's going to, with its 400-mile radius, it's just going to impact the entire state of Florida and Georgia, Alabama, and all that. Now, over the time, I think with the advances in technology, firms need to think, hey, do I need to be locally, keep everything locally? Where do I have my backup plans? Where do I keep some remote associates, staff in a city, in a state that is far away from here? So if Florida gets impacted and they're working in, say, Nebraska, they can manage that, right? If they are in California, the employers in California, and they keep some employees in Texas, they can handle all these local disasters. So part of that is the planning. And what COVID showed was that no planning matters, but it also showed that if you have enough flexibility, if you are willing to take certain risk, you can deliver results for your clients, for your, and even take care of your employees. So where KnovaOne comes in this game is we provide that flexibility, we provide that staffing, we provide that technology solution for our clients through having an offshore location, and now we're building an onshore location.
So it sounds like you really offer resources for folks to not have any sort of interruption in their workflow. And that's a very important lesson learned, that even when people think the world is coming to an end, we learned that it's not. As long as you have planning and technology in place to support your clients and
Yeah.
your employees. So speaking about teams, NFL season is getting
Hmm.
getting back on the field, and to use a professional sports parlance, what are you and your team doing both on and off the field?
So, we used to do a lot of activities prior to COVID, and it became cliche to a point where people started asking us, like, hey, no more Friday fun days. We don't want to do Friday fun days because it became more of a work activity rather than a fun activity. So, what we have done is we have done a couple of things. Impromptu dinners. We don't plan them out like every fourth Friday of the month we'll have a dinner. I've given a budget to our associates saying, hey, any day you feel your team is dragging its feet, just say, hey, after today we are going out for dinner, right? And just go and have dinner, or do whatever. Hang out on Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever you want to do, just go and do it. It doesn't have to be all 300 of our associates have to do it together. It's individual teams. Some teams are as small as 5 people. Some teams are as big as 20 people. Just do your own thing, And if you two teams want to come together and do it, that's do it. In office, we celebrate literally every festival, that is whether Indian festival or American festival. So as we speak now, a big festival going on called Onam. It's mostly celebrated in south of India. But at the end of the day, all festivals are about food, about wearing colorful clothes and just having fun. So we're probably planning to do something. State Pune has a big Ganesh Chaturthi event. It's an event around Lord Ganesha, one of our deities in our religion, and that's coming up. So that's huge planning going on. We'll have a stage made up in the office. Bring like professional drummers that they'll play the drums and songs. And just yesterday, I was talking to our HR guy, like, hey, we need to do a professional headshot shoot. So we are having a photographer come to our office for a couple of days and have people dress up in whatever attire they feel comfortable with, and going to do some professional headshot shoot. The idea is, for all of us, we sit down at our desk at 8 a.m. And again, I'm talking metaphorically 8 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. We're mentally exhausted. And sometimes we look just forward to going home and sleeping. And sometimes we just look forward to ending our day early and just go to a bar and get a drink, right? Whatever, different people have different ways of winding down. And what we are allowing in our organization is let each team figure their own out. Don't do a bulk Friday fun day event. It's cliche, not everybody enjoys it, and everybody has a different timing. We can't force people to do anything saying, oh, let's all of us get together at 3 p.m., maybe 1 a.m., maybe 5 p.m. So do whatever they want to do.
Neeraj, it's so encouraging to hear how you recognize the importance of employee well-being, and how these, what used to be thought as by some as a waste of time or money for companies, really comes back in multiples when you treat your employees right. So that's so nice to hear how you're accommodating all different kinds of celebrations of your employees, and I'm sure that they give back that same energy tenfold
Yep.
when they have such a strong leader. So one final question before we got to go. Maybe not as fun of a question, but with more federal and state regulations than ever before, and contraction of firms within the industry, what's your current challenges, and how are you dealing with them?
So this goes back to the earlier thing we were talking about regarding COVID, right? There's a lot of myths and misconceptions, wrong perceptions about how work gets done offshore. And there are clients who have visited our offices and have said, like, hey, compared to a typical US office where people walk in and walk out with laptops and paper, our offices are sort of virtually Fort Knox, right? And we take pride in it to make sure that we protect our data. So one of the things I've recently, and Nathan, I've started talking to you about doing some outreach, lobbying with our politicians, and explain them that pre-COVID, it was about cost savings. And that's why we lost a lot of our manufacturing to low-cost countries like China and Vietnam and all that. But post-COVID, what this has shown is it's not anymore about cost savings. Yes, there are, but it's more about having flexibility. It's about having a way to get your work done. And it could be service, could be manufacturing, could be anything, whether it's a Tesla plant in California, Texas, India, and Malaysia, or whether it's having a service being done within the United States, near shore or offshore. It's about delivering the services and products. I think the challenges are not because people think really that the data gets stolen and then they can get misused. There are incidents that do happen. A lot of data has been stolen by rogue agents where the data has sat in India, right? It has happened. We know the Marriott hack, the Kaplan hack, we know the Home Depot, Target. It has happened. There's nothing perfect, but the fear has led to a situation where these small businesses, big businesses have found a way to do it. The small businesses have hurdles that were created by our federal and state regulations that they're not able to fully utilize the flexibility that the global world, the India, the Philippines, the Mexico offer for their workforce and deliver their product. I think there's a little bit of education that needs to be done both at the industry level and at the lawmaker levels to talk about, hey, how this can help America gain advantage. See, America is more about intellectual property rather than doing physical activity. And this is where they need to let physical activity be outside so they can work on intellectual property inside the United States.
Yeah, and well, thank you. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I really, to summarize what you just said, it's not the location of the work that really counts, but the quality of the work. And that quality could be done even more cost effectively in different locations if you know how to plan for the future. So thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners. We've run out of time, but I hope you'll agree to come back because I always love talking to you and I love seeing you, and we couldn't appreciate you more for the support that you give NCBA and the entire industry. So thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to wish you a good day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Nathan. The feeling is mutual. Love talking to you.
Thank you.